Welcome to the WalterFootball.com podcast. This is episode 317. We're doing our Super Bowl 56 odds preview. Joined once again by Jacob Camenker from NBC Sports Boston. Jacob, how are you? And how was the Super Bowl, given that you had a 50-1 odds pick on the Buccaneers?
I'm doing great. The Super Bowl was awesome. In terms of the competitiveness of the game, not so much, but having a 50-1 ticket on the Bucs was pretty nice. Easy cruise to victory. I did not manage to middle my hedge, but I still made out with quite a big profit. So congrats to the Bucs. They completed a great season, really got hot at the right time. And I mean, Tom Brady, no one can doubt that he's the greatest quarterback to ever play anymore because he's not a system quarterback. All you people used to argue that. So it was a great game for me on many levels like that. You know, I wish it was more competitive. I wish the Chiefs had their offensive tackles so we could have seen, Mahomes not be constantly under pressure. But it is nice to see the Buccaneers get a win, and Bruce Arians too, because by all accounts, he's a great guy. He's a great coach. He was often overlooked, but now he has a ring to his name as head coach, and I feel like he deserved that for sure.
Yeah, kind of cool that the oldest head coach to win a Super Bowl and the oldest quarterbacks to ever win the Super Bowl is really neat. And yeah, the game was not competitive in the fourth quarter. It was nice that we didn't have to sweat it out. I had 14-1 odds on the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl, so not nearly as impressive as your bet, but 50-1. That's amazing. So with that in mind, I think we had to do Super Bowl 56 odds preview because you bet the Buccaneers very early, obviously before Brady got there. I usually like to bet these after the draft and free agency, and like once I do my season previews, I can kind of identify values. But what you did was kind of like brilliant because you anticipated like the possibility that Brady might go there, and that was like one of the top destinations. And, even if Brady didn't go there, the Buccaneers were a solid team. They almost made the playoffs the year before. So you had to figure that they're going to get someone better than Jameis Winston. So it was great. So I think what we should do today is kind of identify some great values for the Super Bowl 56 odds. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll go over odds for every team for the Super Bowl 56. But first, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit subscribe and the like button, a comment below. All that would be awesome. Or share this video with someone who likes football who may not know about the video. We're kind of a new channel, so people don't really know about us yet. So let's begin with the two teams that just played in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs and the Buccaneers. The Chiefs are 5-1. The Buccaneers are 8.5-1. Are you planning to bet either of these teams?
Well, last year I was like, there's no value betting the Chiefs, and I could have just bet them and had a built-in hedge against the Bucs. So I'm gonna wait to bet on either of these teams because we know they're gonna be good, and we're not gonna get any value with them at this point. If I had to pick one right now, I would bet the Buccaneers again. The reason for that is they have some key players hitting free agency. The short list: Levante David, Chris Godwin, Jack Barrett, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. So they're all going to be free agents. The team's going to have to figure out how to bring them back. But given that Mike Evans is willing to take a discount, I'm going to imagine some of these other veterans might say like, hey, we can at least re-up here for one more year and go for it one more time, given how well things came together. So I think the Buccaneers are going to try to keep their core. I think that things are clicking. I trust their coaching. And at 8.5-1, I think their odds are, well, the odds are obviously better than the Chiefs, but I think they have a solid chance to get there. And you just learn, never bet against Brady. Like, we got to the midpoint of the season or the three-quarter pole of the season, and Bucs were 7-5. They win the last 8 games of the year. So I would bet the Bucs. I wouldn't bet the Chiefs right now. I think 5-1's a little short. I want to see what they do to address their offensive line depth. I'm worried because Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher are both coming off of injuries, and they're both getting into their 30s. So I want to see them add some extra tackle depth. I want to see if Laurent Duvernay-Tardif comes back. I want to see what happens with Kelechi Osemele. So I would wait on them to see what's up with their offensive line. But I don't think you can go wrong with betting either of these two teams because they're two of the best in their respective conferences.
Yeah. So my concern with the Buccaneers is that they might not be as hungry next year. Like it's so difficult to win the Super Bowl twice in a row, and there could be some lethargy from some players. Obviously, not from Tom Brady or Rob Gronkowski. Like those guys are proven winners. They know what it takes to win a Super Bowl. But like some of the lesser players, like the quote unquote lesser players, like people on defense, are the cornerbacks going to work as hard this offseason? offseason to get better? What about the safeties, the young safeties they have? The defensive linemen, like Sue is getting older. You said Shaq Barrett might leave via free agency, but we'll see what happens. There's going to be some turnover. There's going to be some players who might get lazy during the offseason. So that is my concern with the Buccaneers. If the Buccaneers had lost the Super Bowl or maybe in the NFC Championship and they were still 8.5 to 1, I think I would agree with you that they would be a solid play here. But I'm just not going to bet them because I think that there might be a hangover from the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs 5 to 1, it's the old rule where I talked about it last week where I'll go with the Kenny route. If someone has a gun to your head and says you have to bet $1 on any team to win the Super Bowl, it's going to be the Chiefs. Even at 5 to 1, it's not a great number at all, but I think they have the best chances of winning the Super Bowl because, first of all, they have Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be a lot better when his offensive line improves, and I assume it has to be better than it was this year, right? And second, they play in the AFC, which is significantly weaker than the NFC. So they have the best chance of getting to the Super Bowl, and all they have to do is get there. Like you said, it's a built-in hedge at 5 to 1. So I think I'm going to be betting the Chiefs. I'm going to try to hunt for a better number, like maybe a 6 to 1 somewhere. Hopefully, I think there were 6.5 to 1 last year. I found last year. I will be betting the Chiefs. I will not be betting the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I definitely want to bet the Chiefs at some point for the reasons you outlined, but I'm probably going to wait because I don't think this number is going to get significantly worse. I think it'll only get better, and I really do want to see if they're going to add just even depth on the offensive line because Mike Remmers at swing tackle is not really going to cut it anymore if one of those guys is out, and then they had to move Andrew Wiley out to right tackle. They need tackle depth. I know they drafted Lucas Niang last year. I would anticipate they will draft an offensive lineman early, if not in the first round this year, because it's a great offensive line class, and Andy Reid loves to build up in the trenches like that. So if they do that, I will absolutely bet on them at this number. But again, because it's not going to move that much, I'll probably wait until later in the offseason or until this number moves to the 6 to 1 or maybe 6.5 to 1 if we get lucky.
Yeah, for sure. Quick question here, Walter. When are the NBA mocks and grades coming back? Why'd you stop doing them? Because the NBA season was so weird timing-wise that the NBA draft occurred during the NFL season, and I was really concentrating on the picks and the Super Contest. I just didn't have time to do mock drafts, and the offseason also occurred during the season, so I just had no time to grade them. But the grades and the mocks will come back after the season. After this NBA season for sure during the summer. All right, let's